don't care. I don't care. I have no sympathy. Don't care. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm sorry. Well, hello, gentlemen.
All here at once, same time.
What is this about?
It's probably the first
Four
time
at
that's
once?
ever happened.
Seriously, it might be since like April or May, maybe. That
Probably.
we've all
Special
been
occasion.
here.
Yeah.
It's a special occasion.
Yeah.
It's a special occasion. We've got a loaded show tonight. It's gonna be good. I'm expecting to go late, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But
Marathon.
It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
I got my bottle. I've made a bottle of water this time for sure.
Smart.
It's ready to go.
Drink it from my Murano glass. Little rosé. Little little bubbly.
You should have told me you had rosé. So the week of Thanksgiving is like a big liquor run week. Like that's where all the stores get all their big allocations of stuff. And one of the bottles I bought is a bourbon bottle that's actually it's aged in rosé barrels. It's Penelope bourbon. It's interesting. But what I'm cracking today, special occasion, little E.H. Taylor.
Hey,
little Taylor for you. This is E.H. Taylor small batch. Good stuff. Good juice. Not the easiest to get these days, but that's what
the
I'm
flex is pouring it on the stream.
Yeah, watching the Grizz. The Grizz are winning by like literally 70. Like it makes no sense. They're up by like 55 against they have 108 points through 3 quarters.
Like, and no job.
From who?
From everyone except John Morant, basically. I mean, they're I mean, they're beating the shit out of a terrible team, but you know, I've got my LSU gear and my Saints. I'm supporting that right now. Grizz don't need me right now, so.
LSU football back to championship ways with Brian Kelly.
I honestly am not worried about like the big thing seems to be the culture fit thing with him because he's not from there, and I'm like it's big business. Like it doesn't matter where it is in the country. Like it's just a big enterprise, and he's proven that he can operate that at a high level. For you guys, Notre Dame people got to seem now that Freeman's the actual coach or supposed to be, like you guys are excited about that, right?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, the sentiment from everybody in Notre Dame family. So for anybody that doesn't watch college football, our coach left to go to LSU. I went to Notre Dame.
Tigers.
Go Tigers. And they're like kind of pussyfooting around figuring out who's next. But we essentially retained the entire coaching staff, all the coordinators, all the like position coaches. Nobody followed BK to LSU, which is hilarious.
It is telling, kind of.
Yeah, it is telling. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think general sentiment is like positive. So, yeah, standout OC, Tommy Rees, noodle arm Tommy Rees. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Freeman, the defensive coordinator. I mean, last year was his first year as a DC, right? And so he doesn't have any head coaching experience. That's not like the typical Notre Dame way. Almost always they go with a proven head coach in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see. I'm positive about it. Seems like he's a super good recruiter. So I don't follow it that closely. A bunch of the other guys that I'm friends with are way more into it than I am. Some of the OG plungers, like big cohort of domers in there. So lots and lots of conversation around that. So, but anyway. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say the last thing. He had made a name for himself, I feel like, before being at Notre Dame anyway. Like he was people were wanting to put him in head coaching spots. Maybe not as big as Notre Dame, but you know.
I mean, he did well at Cincinnati and took him to whatever that. I think they had an undefeated season or pretty close to it, and went to like a Sugar Bowl or something, Fiesta Bowl maybe. But yeah, so we got a big show tonight. So we are going to bring on Joe here in a minute or two from Infinite Objects. If anybody here is into TopShot, which probably you are if you're listening to the stream. Yeah, big activation earlier this week because they launched their integration for printing your moments, which is dope. I got they reached out and asked if I wanted to, help promote that. I was like, heck yeah, I want to do that. And so after I did that, I reached back out to the promotions email. I was like, hey, we stream on Thursdays. Is anybody from the team want to come on and talk about it? And
CEO was like,
and they looped in Joe, who is the founder and CEO of Infinite Objects. So he's here to talk to us about that, which I'm super excited about to talk to him, sort of get the lay of the land there. And we'll talk some TopShot stuff after that. And then obviously we're going to get to Greg and Taylor, your project, Swish Dreams. I have to say, I know that the name is already there, but like I can't stop thinking of Swiss cheese every time I say it. So it's Swiss cheese. And
what I wanted to say though, guys, look out, Greg and Taylor, because Plunge and I have our own project, which he doesn't know about, but we're about to do it. And it's going to be called Brick Nightmares. And it's going to be all the worst shot charts of all time.
All the guys that
just blank,
just all the bricks. It's gonna be little bricks. Like it's gonna be the upside down version of you guys. So
I love it.
You better watch out.
An officially endorsed like rip on our project.
I love it.
I literally made that up like 5 minutes ago. I thought it was cool.
So Joe, can you give me a thumbs up if you're good to go? Awesome. Let's bring you up and let's talk a little bit. How are you, man?
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me on.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers to you. It's been a big week for you.
It has, yes. So it was something we've been working on for literally, we started talking to Dapper 6-7 months ago when we closed our seed round, which Dapper joined. This was like, totally one of my visions for Infinite Objects was sports memorabilia. And honestly, I think my second and third content prototypes were actually Steph Curry, and then I had a Serena Williams, her game-winning shot, and this really beautiful moment from it must have been 3 or 4 years before that. But anyway, Serena joined the round also. I got Serena as an investor. Dapper joins the investor. It was perfect. And so it's been a long time coming, but really excited to get this out to the community and see the reactions once people start getting these in their hands.
Yeah. I got mine. I don't have it with me. I wish I had brought it. I wasn't thinking ahead and I left it in my office, which is where it's displayed. But I got one in my hands for the Cool Cats, collaboration that you did with TopShot. I gave it away because there was someone that didn't get one that should probably have gotten one that had their LaMelo hidden in a pack. And at the time, there you go.
Yeah, there's an example for the viewers out there.
Yeah, so I gave mine one. So I was like, and it was at the time I was like, hey, I probably won't display this because it'll distract me. But then the more that I have seen some of these display functions and everything, and then when you talked to me about, or when your team talked to me about what we had coming up, I was like, okay, this is pretty awesome. I should probably have one of these. And it's actually a good conversation piece. I've already had multiple conversations about it for people that walked into my office. So talk us through from an integration perspective with Dapper and with TopShot more specifically, what technical hurdles did you have to get over to actually be able to launch the product as you did?
Yeah. So do you want me to kind of start at the beginning of Infinite Objects, or you want me to just jump into the Dapper and TopShot stuff? Where do you want to start the story?
Let's start there, and then we can get to the technical hurdle stuff. But please feel free to talk us through where it started and how we got to where we are.
Totally. So, I've been a hardware and software developer, engineering, tons of different products, kind of across the spectrum, mostly geared towards creative technology. And I was working on R&D projects with Giphy, the GIF search engine that's now part of Facebook, or Meta, I guess now. And we were doing a lot of different experiments around how we consume moving images and video content, across the board. So a lot of it was AR and VR experiments. We launched a lot of stuff. And then I started pitching the CEO there, his name is Alex Chung, on some hardware ideas. And so I spent about a year developing a bunch of different hardware ideas, and this was one of those experiments. And it really, the kind of core concept of the prototype that really kind of blew my mind and kind of launched what was Infinite Objects was an immutable display, a permanent one that is not about technology or gadgetry. That's actually about how can content, specifically video content, which is a digital format, become something that is collectible, something that is ownable, something that can be scarce. And by making that permanence, that kind of immutability that is, very much a limitation, but actually creates so many different opportunities around how we think about monetizing video and how we think about owning video. And so that was in 2017. And in 2018, I was like, this is enough to start, a company and raise some venture capital. And so, I spent that first year in 2018 going into 2019, really just iterating on the form factor and the user experience, and then starting to define audiences that would be excited about monetizing video and kind of distributing video in this physical format that is really very much a design object, much more than it is a gadget. Right. And so that was the thesis. That's exactly, you know, where we started. And, you know, crypto and NFTs, I bought my first crypto kitty in 2018. I started with crypto maybe in 2016, just dabbling because it was clearly interesting. But definitely understood that we are creating scarcity for digital content. We are creating authenticity for digital content, and we're evolving the experience of ownership. And those are exactly what NFTs are doing for digital assets. They're doing it with blockchain. We are doing it in a very physical sense. And something that's really understandable to people is saying, hey, there's only 100 or 1,000 of these. You're holding one. It is numbered. It is signed. It has, you know, in the case of NBA TopShot, we've got the NBA holographic sticker, like from the league. It's really authentic. You know, it is genuine. And so that idea, it's beautiful how, you know, where our kind of roots and core concept just is perfectly aligned with what NFT represent for the community. And so we really feel like this is our product kind of has become this bridge from people who don't understand what blockchain is, what NFTs mean, to really getting, oh, digital assets can be collectible as well. And so, yeah, it's been amazing. Our first NFT project was with Beeple.
I was going to ask, what was the first?
Yeah, exactly. It was Beeple. And, you know, we launched about 2 years ago now, and it was all about art. We were all about art because that is a community that really cares about content, really cares about authenticity, and very much appreciates scarcity. And so we launched with 15 different pieces that we commissioned. We worked with a few different curators and did a big event at the new museum here in New York City. And you know, for the pitch to artists is, hey, you're posting content every day. You're getting sometimes hundreds of thousands of likes, but you could never sell that video, that especially for moving image artists, right? Whether it's motion graphics, video, animation, whatever. We are a revenue opportunity for you to connect with your audience and also monetize the content that you're posting every single day. And so Beeple was an artist I had been following for a long time, and we've been reaching out to him, and, you know, probably
finally got connected.
Yeah, finally. I mean, he replied to some DMs, and you know, this is January of 2020, and before the pandemic, right before
the world changed.
Yeah, before the world changed. Exactly. Shipped him a few units, like a few samples, so that he could play with them, and then didn't hear from him for like 6 months, because yeah, there was a whole pandemic, etc. You know, whatever, people were dying. It was a sad moment, but he reached out at the end of the year and was like, "Hey, I'm working with this stuff called NFTs. Do you know about it?" And I was like, "Yes, 100%." I had already talked to Super Rare and talked to Nifty Gateway, who, you know, had growing audiences, but they didn't have a ton of traction. We were a brand new company, so nothing happened that year until Beeple was like, "I want to offer one of your objects, one of your video prints, with every NFT on my next drop." It was his second Nifty Gateway drop, and that was like that weekend. He did like 3.5 million. It did make a bunch of noise, and since then it's just been a rocket ship. I mean, we've done like 5 drops with him, and we've worked with so many NFT artists now. It's been incredible. But, you know, when you think about the future of what NFTs and digital collectibles are, I think that entertainment, sports, you know, when you think about video as a medium, this is how we tell stories. This is how we remember moments. Video is what we spend the most time looking at on social media. It's what we spend the most time creating. And so it can apply to really so many different audiences. And so sports and collectibles in sports and memorabilia is just such an obvious use case for our product. So for sure. Yeah, I was really excited.
I'm popping open the Chugs has started to share a stream for there's like article.
So Wall Street Journal article that had you guys in there.
Yeah, those are Steve Aoki pieces right there. He did a few. Right. We've done a couple things with Steve Aoki.
I've done like one thing with Steve Aoki. It was fun. I don't think he knows that we did it together, but I was there.
Pretty much best friends now. So.
We're pretty much best friends. We were
front row.
Yeah, NFT NYC, the proof of party party when he was there. I weaseled my way into the front row, and I wish there was a cake. There wasn't a cake. I was promised a cake.
Yeah, no cake.
I was there too. That was a great party.
It was a good party.
It was fun.
We probably like ran across each other at some point. Maybe we probably didn't introduce each or say hi or anything, but we were there. Thanks, Greg, and your connections there. So walk me through. So it sounds like from initial conception, one of the kind of use cases that you were looking at was from a sports collectibles perspective. Until NBA TopShot, has there been was TopShot the first, hey, this is a viable way for us to sort of connect this, or had you tried other sports related things before that?
Yeah, we actually I worked with NBA Lab. So NBA Lab is like a subsidiary. They're actually not a part of the league, but they're an awesome crew of folks working on a lot of different, basically sub-licensing NBA content. And so it was about a year ago now, we did signed a licensing deal with them, and we made a series of video prints that were around team IP. So basically team logos. We did a Lakers chant because the Lakers had just won the championship. This is like a year and a half ago.
Right.
And we did a Lakers championship video print. And it definitely, they definitely sell, but based on the kind of licensing IP that they had access to, they were not able to license us actual video of game play, right? Just able to license team logo, obviously team names, and so it was definitely our first kind of official sports merchandise. Was these kind of NBA team prints that you can still find on our website today. But when TopShot launched, and I had actually talked to some of the Dapper team maybe 6 months before their launch, and I was like, this is going to be massive. This is going to be so fucking big, in terms of introducing the idea of NFTs and digital collectibles to mainstream audiences. But when you think about NBA fans, I myself, that's the only sport I watch. NBA is the only league.
Okay. You're in New York, but are you from New York?
I was born here. Yeah, I was actually born in Brooklyn, but I didn't grow up here. I grew up I went to high school in LA, so I loved the Lakers. I loved the Lakers, and then when I went to college, the Warriors. When I was in college, I'm old. When I was in college, it was Baron Davis.
Oh yeah,
and the crew. And
We Believe Warriors.
Yes, exactly. We believe. Remember they killed the Mavs. Exactly. That is when I got obsessed with basketball, because that series was so emotional. That is when I fell in love with basketball, and just never stopped watching. But yeah, now I love the Nets. The Nets are great. I love KD, who's also an investor. Shout out 35 Ventures. And it's a great new kind of fan base happening in Brooklyn right now. Barclays. I live down the street from Barclays. That's part of the reason why. So
awesome.
You might get a kick out of this, Joe, as a basketball guy. So I don't know what the record is for margin of victory, but the Grizzlies are currently, with 4 minutes left, winning by 76 points.
What?
I'm not even kidding. It's 143-67 with 4:22 left.
Yikes.
I don't
What happened?
I don't know what the record is, but that's got to be flirting with it. Certainly in
close.
Anyway, sorry to digress. It's just you being a hoops fan, I figured you might get a kick out of that.
Oh my god!
Holy crap!
They're up 50, and now they've gone on a 30-5 run in the fourth quarter. Just haven't even taken their foot off the gas.
That's not.
They're playing nothing but backups right now. Anyway,
wow.
I wanted to ask.
Baron Davis is into that NFTs.
He's in there. Yeah. I wanted to ask Joe. At what point, did you kind of always know that this with NFTs was going to click in a major way from the jump, years back, or were you kind of, if you're being honest with yourself, was this past year you're kind of holy shit, it's kind of all happening, or was it something you kind of always really knew like 2 or 3 years ago?
100% the latter. I did not. I mean, I was so excited about what blockchain and Web3 and there was so many cool projects happening, but they all just seemed like projects, you know? And even, watching Super Rare's early days and Nifty Gateway's early days, it was like, okay, like there's something here for sure. No fucking way I thought it was going to explode like it did, a year ago, starting a year ago, but going into the spring of this year, no, did not foresee that at all. I mean, if I did, I would have been building an NFT marketplace. I wouldn't have been touching.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess
Hardware is hard.
Hardware is hard. That is a reality. But no, it's been amazing. I do think that the fact that our mission is exactly the same. We're just doing it physically, right? We're telling the exact same story around that content can be valuable. Digital assets can be valuable. They can be rare. They can be collectible. And it's been a beautiful kind of, coming together of that. And how fast it's blown up is just overwhelming. Keeping up with it is exhausting.
Yeah. Is there, I guess to the extent you can, kind of share, are there other kind of like major outfits that you guys are kind of like tied in with, stuff that you're able to share, right? Like, are there, other than the NBA or Dapper, who else are you guys sort of working with, or, what's around the corner with Infinite Objects?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have so much to do in the NFT space. This launch represents our first Web3 integration where we are talking to a blockchain, on our site.
Right.
And there's so much to build around that. Our product is, it's really unique, obviously, in terms of what it is and how it works. But what I think is really, really special is that we have this opportunity to say that digital assets, right click and download, right click and save. This is a reality. We launched, I skipped over a whole kind of product that we launched a year and a half ago, which was a user-generated content tool. So if you go to our website today, in the top right corner, it'll say create your own. And this lets anyone upload a video from their phone or from their laptop and for the first time be able to own a video or gift a video in a physical form. Right. And so, when NFTs exploded about, 9-10 months ago, when really the volume was crazy, we were getting a ton of people uploading Steve Aoki NFTs. We got a lot of people uploading, really like name any of those big drops. People were just sticking them on our creator tool and ordering them. And we as a team were like, listen, we could just be making money here. We could just be like printing them and shipping this. And kind of like
no verification, just doing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just blindly.
There's zero authentication involved. They're just uploading the video that they just right clicked and downloaded.
Yeah.
And we decided, no, like this is such an exciting moment, like this paradigm shift of authenticity and ownership. There is so much more opportunity in saying we want to play this in this sandbox of blockchain and NFTs in a meaningful way. And so we actually were just canceling orders all summer. We were canceling orders left and right and saying, we can't prove that you own this. And we also don't have any idea that the creator of that NFT wants you to own a physical version of it.
Right.
And so we were canceling. This is the first time now that we are letting people self-authenticate their ownership of an NFT and print it in a way where, we are paying royalties to the league. Our TopShot prints are, fully licensed. They have their, certificate of authenticity, their sticker of authenticity. And it's really important to us that the content creator or the IP owners participate in that process. And so actually our first blockchain app was about two months ago. We launched the creator tool, the artist registry. This is a smart contract that we deployed that lets our individual creator sign a smart contract that says, yes, I want my collectors to be able to print my NFTs that I created, and I want them to sell for this price point. So they set their own price point, and that means that they also collect a royalty. That price point directly affects the amount of royalty that we will pay that creator, that IP owner, for printing their work. right? For printing it, even though the collector obviously already purchased it on chain, you know, where however they acquired it, the collector will have to authenticate their ownership with logging in with MetaMask for Ethereum. Obviously, with TopShot, we fully Dapper wallet integration there, but and we'll be supporting a bunch of other blockchains next year. But it's really for us, kind of following these really exciting paradigms that blockchain and the NFTs have created around royalties and around ownership. We want to be doing that correctly, right? We want to be participating in that in a really conceptually high level, and not just thinking ourselves as like, you know, Kinkos or Kinkos doesn't even exist anymore, but fucking, you know,
FedEx Express.
We all
FedEx
know
Express.
Kinkos.
FedEx
No,
slash
it's not unlike, honestly, in just traditional physical, you know, art commissioning from an original prints of it, right? I mean,
Yep.
like this is a digital version of it, but then I think it's smart on you guys to kind of lean into the future, so to say, and lean into that verification aspect of it with NFTs, because like you kind of alluded to, it may not mean more dollars today, but I think bigger picture, your mission is more intact, you know, by going that route versus just being like a rubber stamp machine for digital picture frames, basically. You know, like you're clearly more than that, which like I said, hat tip for that, for leaning into that.
That's exactly right. I mean, from day one, we were paying a creator because we commissioned art. That was how we started. Then we were just able to onboard artists who were like, hey, I want to sell my stuff, my work on your thing. They decided their price point and they earned a royalty on every single sale of a print. And that's exactly how we want to continue operating, especially with NFTs. If you want to upload a video of your dog or your baby or your wedding or your travel, your vacation, great. We're not going to charge anyone royalty. Like, order 10 of them,
right,
and then your family, your wedding party, and that's great. And that's a big part of our business.
The next Plungeon NFT is just going to be all of our wedding photos,
just on a loop. Very nice.
I had one question for you, and I don't think it's unique to necessarily to you guys. I think a lot of people have sort of a similar situation. I'm curious just to hear your thoughts on it. I saw what made me think of it is, I don't know if you saw any of the demo videos of like the Twitter PFP verification. Have you seen any of that where they show like a demo of essentially signing in with some sort of wallet and authenticating that, yes, I own this, and then Twitter can set it as your profile picture? One of the main pushbacks or like tricky questions with that I saw people mentioning, I think it applies to a lot of places, is like, once you sign it and verify, how do you maintain this like ongoing verification that you are still like the true owner of that asset? So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, both like in general, but also like as, you know, someone with a physical piece of hardware that represents it after doing that verification. Was curious.
Yeah, no, of course. This is you know, a question that gets asked all the time. Yeah, and with Twitter, I mean, I have a CryptoPunk, and that is my avatar on Twitter. Is that I would love for that to have the little, because I think the demo video had a little ETH logo
that
was
showed
like,
up. It seemed like once you like verified,
can't wait for that to happen. For infinite objects, you know, the way that we think about our product in relation to the NFT that it represents, we're never going to replace the NFT, right? You are holding a physical twin, basically a physical representation of that digital token. That digital token always lives on chain, right? What we represent is this authenticated physical twin that you had to prove your ownership to own at all. Now, what happens when you sell that NFT? You know, one of the really beautiful things about our product, I have one of our very first generation video prints here. This one has a very customized front layer. And on the back side is this certificate. So it's signed by the artist. It's got an edition number. It's got metadata about this piece of artwork, right? Obviously, it's got, you know, when it was created, the artist, piece name, etc. For NFTs, we have this opportunity to also include metadata that is physically embedded in the object. And, you know, obviously QR codes, they were not cool for a long time, and now they're everywhere. We are putting QR codes on our devices that link directly to the token on chain. So what does that mean? That means that when you are showing off your video print in your living room to your buddy, and you're like, yo, check this out. Look how beautiful this thing is. And also, by the way, this is a representation of an NFT that I own. Your buddy can scan it, verify that either you currently still own it, awesome, or that you don't own it anymore. But guess what? If you don't own it
That's so
anymore,
awesome.
you can see when it was created, obviously, when was it minted, when did you buy it, you as the owner of the print, and also how much you fucking sold it for, which is so cool, right? And I think that kind of data, that historical chain of ownership, always living on chain, is a beautiful thing about Web3. And the fact that you have this physical, this authenticated physical, just means that at one time you absolutely had the right to purchase that, and so you get to show it off forever. But we're never going to replace the NFT, right? This is not the NFT. The NFT is always on chain. So this idea that you sold it and you still have the physical, we think is a beautiful thing, right? And honestly, kind of creates an opportunity to serialize the editions of the print, because you might have the first printing of that moment on TopShot, right? Of moment number 2500, you might have that exact first printing, and then later we'll tokenize the fact that that is the first one. When you sell it, the new owner can also print it. Still print number 2500, but maybe that's print number 2, and maybe we store that on chain as well. And so then all of a sudden, each edition has its own value. Especially if you're like, oh yeah, this was this is Paul George's video print that I just bought on eBay from whatever moment that he owned at some time or something, like, or StockX.
Right.
So we're really thinking about it so much further than like this one-to-one thing. It is not a one-to-one thing, because again, we're never going to replace the NFT. That is always going to live on the blockchain.
I really like that also from the aspect of, like, you see a lot of folks that, like for Bored Apes, for example, they got an ape and now they're sitting on it and they're like, well, I have one. I have total FOMO about selling it, but it does present a cool opportunity where, like, say you do want to take some profits at the table and you're like, you know what, I'm going to sell it. You can get one of yours, you can get an infinite object of it that's verifiable. And like you said, you can show, like, you know what, I don't own the NFT anymore, but like I held it at one point. I made one of these and I was the only person at the time that authentically could have made one of these. And you can see that I then went on to sell it, but here's my little memento that I'm holding to myself to, like, remember the time that I had that thing and I sold it for $250,000, whatever it is. I think that's a cool story and aspect to it.
Exactly. Yeah, you totally get it. That's exactly right.
Awesome. Cool.
Now I just need to make people print in the right order to where I can get a jersey match of John Morant. Like, I need the 12th copy. So I just got to convince 11 people first and then be the 12th guy, then I'm good.
So you're a hardware guy. Like, can you talk a little bit about the design of it? Because it looks awesome. Like, there are definitely versions of these that I've seen that do not look nearly as good as this. So I guess what went into that? Like, how long did it take you to kind of come up with that design?
Yeah, it's really funny. I display technology is not new at all, right? We, all of us have grown up with screens literally littering our households, and since we were in high school, having screens in our pockets, right, and in our backpacks. And so displays and kind of how they're designed and what we expect from displays is ingrained in everyone who is, a millennial or younger. And when we were, really iterating on the physical and the industrial design of the product, what we wanted to communicate was value. Was to say, like, this isn't a gadget. This isn't supposed to feel like, like it does a million things. This needs to feel really, really valuable. And so the analogy, when you think about that for print media, just, photographs, when you think about art prints, when you think about baseball cards, how do we elevate those in a physical form? And honestly, like, as horrible as plastic is for the environment, clear acrylic has been the way that we, frame really, really expensive stuff, really valuable things. Obviously, glass in a museum frame is one thing, but I love this idea of collectibles and drawing that connection to sports memorabilia. Honestly, baseball cards and the way that, you know, we obviously house them and the different, there's, you know, a bunch of different products for that. That was definitely kind of the initial inspiration of experimenting with it. And then we kind of just kept like running and honestly making it heavier, making it thicker. It's not thin. The thing is not thin, and that's by design. And we like leaned into it. It could be way thinner. There's no reason for it to be as thick as it is. Other than obviously we wanted it to be able to stand by itself. We are launching some beautiful extra kind of things that, you know, in terms of stands and that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's very much about communicating value. That is really where the industrial design is seated in. And then the idea that our product can be, you know, I showed you the backside. That's really important. That's like a certificate of authenticity. And so designing it in such a way where that backside could be very flexible in terms of the design, in terms of, you know, what content it could convey, was really, really important in designing that initial, you know, kind of form factor. You guys, my dog is right outside my door. I'm going to let her in my, I don't know if you can hear
Oh
her.
yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. I'm currently, so I put out that blowout chart or whatever today, and Chris Vernon retweeted it. I'm making an update and just putting 1 for 70 plus because they're the only that got the record. Just add that to it and retweet it out. So I'm like kind of finagling right now in the background.
Wait, what happened with Memphis?
So they ended up setting the record for largest margin of victory, 73 points.
What?
Yeah. So I think that somebody had put it in the chat. It was 68 was the previous record, and they got 73. Jaren Jackson was basically. I was looking at the whole bench, like lit it up at Jaren Jackson.
Like
Jaren Jackson's having a secretly like amazing year. He's
almost
awesome.
Every player had double digits, and like everyone but 2 guys had double digits.
Right, but Jaren Jackson was like 6 for 7 from 3, had a handful of blocks. Like he's like the future stretch 5 type dude or modern day 5 right now. He's playing like exactly what he's supposed to be, which is fun to watch. But
hey, at least OKC didn't get doubled up. Almost.
Yeah, at least they didn't get doubled up. Dude, that's just a straight bloodbath. Never seen anything like that before. So who I was gonna say, have other big corporations have you gotten hollered at? Are you getting like a lot of calls basically of people wanting to like get their shit on your you know, objects? So what do you actually call them? Like what's
we
your
call them video prints.
Video prints?
Video prints, right? And that analogy to print and permanence is really important to us, but obviously it's all moving images. So yeah, we call them video prints. And we definitely we get hit up every day, but like a lot every day. And it's exciting. There's a lot of awesome stuff. I wish I could. I'm trying to think of something I can like talk about right now. But we've done so much stuff. I mean, we've done mainstream shit with like CNN. CNN has a whole, and that's out on Flow also. Actually, all of their NFTs are built on Flow, and so we've worked with them. We worked with some college football. I think the Hurricanes we did a whole thing with. They released video prints alongside a bunch of their NFTs.
I feel like you guys are going to be getting requests in swag bags for like special events, and for like your team, the football team goes to the Sugar Bowl, their whole team gets an infinite object of like highlights of that player's season, or like the best play they had or something, or like some celebratory moment or whatever. Like, I don't know if people have been hitting you up for that, but like if I'm like Tostitos or some shit or whatever, like that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, I mean, obviously companies, huge companies, you know, they got like a VP of marketing that would probably, you know, they put on the case for that. But like, that's where my head goes with you guys. So hopefully that comes to fruition for y'all.
We've done,
if it isn't already, you know, and you just can't really say anything.
Yeah, no, we've done quite a bit. I mean, you know, Dapper, they were like, hey, we really want, you know, 9 Lives Lounge. They're trying to build, you know, so much value for you know, people who are part. And they were like, this is a perfect opportunity to give them something, this perk, something they're not expecting necessarily.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. And so they were like, this Cool Cats challenge is a beautiful one. Let's do a limited edition set. These are not editioned themselves individually, but obviously we only,
Right.
they took a snapshot on whatever date. And so, they were very much thinking about it as a way to build community. And when you think about marketing, what is marketing? It's about building a community. And so this kind of perk of saying like, hey, you achieved something, you are a part of something, and rewarding that with this physical item is exactly how we envision it getting used. And yeah, this is not the only one. Did you see the link I put in the chat with the eBay?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Of the Cool Cats getting resold. Some of them.
Oh yeah, the first. So those are the available listings. I can send it in the. Actually, if you send it, I actually don't have access to it because I had to restart the StreamYard. But the eBay sales up front, I think the like early sales were up in the like $600-800 range, and they've kind of come down as people are selling off their Cool Cat sets, which is kind of funny. So Chugs and I are heavily involved, and we're sort of at the beginning of the Nine Lives Lounge. We sort of created the Discord community that preempted that a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's
When
a
was
story.
that? When did that start up?
Yeah, it's a long story. So like back in
When the bags got heavy.
When the bags got super heavy.
So the timeline was at the end of March or the end of May. There was basically, if you had all the 29 pieces, it's a 30 moment set. If you had all 29, you were going to get a LaMelo Ball, which was like that was the crown jewel of the whole Cool Cat set. And so at the time, the 29 pieces didn't have much value to it. There was all these kind of like murky promises, like it's going to mean something, or it's got to eventually mean something, because it lasted like 3.5 months or something. Just all the pieces that you had to collect. And there was somebody who had tweeted, it kind of organically came about Twitter. They were like, okay, we need to kind of band together, like the folks that are all in this, like, let's kind of unite. And like, at first it was literally, we're going to unite and just like list things at meme prices or something and make sure, like on a hodl or whatever, like we're not going to punt our crap the second we, complete the set. And so it started as a little Discord. I think I was the third person in it. Plunge was the fourth. And now it's like over 1,000 of the 2,900 or something that have all 30 or whatever. And we like this all preceded what Dapper eventually kind of did with the Nine Lives Lounge by a couple months at least. But I mean, we had, Dumbo, I'm sure you've talked to, like he was in or Luke with Dapper, he was in our Discord. He was the only like honorary member. Everybody else, you had to have all the pieces to be in. And it became a good kind of like community of not just talking TopShot, but talking other NFTs. The Cool Cats NFT, like none of us would have found it if it weren't for Cool Cats, like the TopShot set.
Someone came in there and was like, "Hey, is this us?" And I
we're like, "No, it's not."
So I hopped in the Cool Cats Discord and was like, "Cease and desist. Cool Cats is ours. Like, don't even try." And we ended up minting a bunch of them, and it went really well.
Yeah, we created merch and stuff too, like not official stuff, but like our own kind of fun thing. And you see people tweet out like at NBA games, like they're rocking a Cool Cats they're like swingman jerseys. So it's been fun. It's a cool thing. The Infinite Objects thing was certainly I was legitimately very excited to find out that we were getting one of those. Because I'd seen them around, and honestly, at first I was like, man, this is going to be the only kind of people are going to get this. Like Harrison Barnes, I think was one of the first people. Maybe I think he was one of the first people with one, and I was like, man, it's just going to be a bunch of rich people flexing this on me, and I'm not going to be able to have one or whatever. But actually, like seeing it up close and understanding like the ingenuity behind it, like, I mean, I totally get like the price points and like what you're getting, right? Like you're getting a very high-end product. You're not being sold like just a piece of plastic with a like a digital picture frame or something. It is much more than that. Just holding it.
Just to be clear,
Technically,
that shit. So, yeah, I love the story you just told because that's so organic. You know, like that's literally like people saying like, we love this, we're so excited about this. Let's think of ideas. Let's kind of create our own value. And I think that's why TopShot has been so successful, is because it's all centered around the NBA. And the NBA has so many passionate fans. And you can look at different artists, like when you think about NFTs and how it's exploded, art has been this kind of driving, content type or communities, but they're very disparate. You can love one artist and really not really love another one in terms of their work, right? But with NBA, this is something that we all get excited about. Oh, did you just break the website? Which just went down.
No, so you have to. So part of the charm, if we can call it that, of the Plungeon stream is that I live out in the country and I have like literally 8 megabytes of internet speed, and so anytime I share a screen, like it's a crapshoot as to whether or not it's actually going to show anything. So it absolutely has nothing to do with your website and has everything to do with my internet connection. But what I was trying to display was that when you log in, so if anybody didn't see me do that, I just went to the products print chart. And I think actually if you just do products TopShot,
or just /TopShot works. You can just go infiniteobjects.com/TopShot. That'll take.
I'll push this in the chat so everybody else can do it, because there's a ton of people in here that have these. But you just like connect your Dapper wallet, and then it allows you to look for all of the like within the context of your wallet, like what's out there, and it'll start to show. So this is the one that you actually sent me to display, and it's going to buffer and load, but you have a couple different sizes, right? You've got the extra large one and then the large one that's a little bit smaller. And it's got, hey, this is how this works, but it's actually connected to your wallet to verify that, hey, you own this NFT, you're going to print it. So I can't just go and, print off, a LeBron Cosmic because I don't own one, but I can do anything that's in my collection, which is awesome. So really exciting stuff.
Two things here. One, can you click on the /front button on the left
yes,
side?
I can.
Go back to that. This is killing me, by the way. Like, oh, there you go. This one's playing. All right.
Yeah, it's literally Chugs. If you want to pull it up so that we can actually have like legitimately good internet, you're welcome to do that. Or if any one of you guys wants to pull it up, because it's my internet. It's 100% what it is. We'll do a live
the
demo.
backside is totally worth talking about for a moment. But yeah, one thing exactly like you said, there's right now 2 sizes, the large and the extra large. That extra large is a brand new SKU for us. This is a 10-inch display. Oh, there's the backside, yeah. And if you click on the large, it looks a little bit nicer, but you'll see it's very obviously it's got that official NBA logo. We're paying lots of money for that, and I wanted it to be genuine. That's like such an important part of it, right? That's such an important part of the NFT. Like, you're buying it from TopShot. Like, yeah, any person can mint a video that they just ripped off of a live stream. But that authenticity is so critical, I think, to what we're doing and to NFTs in general. So that extra large size is brand new. It is expensive.
Couple hundred, yeah.
It's a couple hundred for the
smaller one, and then
smaller one, $199 for the smaller one, and I believe $299 or $399 for the larger one. What I am happy to announce right here is that very soon, I think within a week or maybe 10 days from now, we'll have the smallest size of the product. 5-inch is a display that we've been manufacturing for our user-generated content for a long time. But we will have an even cheaper price point there for collectors who are, they didn't necessarily drop 20 grand for a moment, but they would love to, show off even one of their, kind of regular pack moments. So, awesome. So yeah, that's definitely news that's going to happen. Like I said, real soon, like within 2 weeks for sure.
So I have a question for you. So like I connected my wallet. I just popped in. What determines in what order the moments are shown?
Oh, that's a great question. It's actually, so, Dapper, they this is not a public API, right? Mm-hmm. The wallet login, basically we're a third party using the Dapper wallet API, allowing you to authenticate yourself. and then pulling everything inside of your wallet, right? That is not public. I think there's maybe one other project. What project is it that lets you do that right now? But it's something that they gave us access to. This is what their API returns their array back in.
Interesting.
Do you want it to be sorted? Because that's absolutely
no. So I'm curious. So the reason that I bring that up, so the first moment that pops up is I think the best moment on TopShot, which is the LeBron 3.
Not the Ja Morant dunk on Aaron Baines. Best one.
I think the LeBron 3 is the best moment on TopShot. This is the second best moment.
The no look. You're talking the no look.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
yes,
that's yours. Yeah.
But and then I'm curious, like. For the array, I'm wondering if it's like hey, how long have you owned this thing, or because it doesn't look to be that, at least on the surface. So let's see.
Such a good question. I'm going to bring this up to I know for a fact that we're not sorting it when it loads. It's what they're returning.
Sure.
So it is a decision that either Dapper made. Is it always the same? Did you check?
I don't know. Let's try. Let's find out.
I wonder if it's always the same.
Let's go to.
I would even log out.
Back.
Log back.
Okay. Man, you're doing live user testing right now.
Well, like, let's be honest here. Like, very frankly, we are a small team. Our engineering team is really 4 full-time engineers. We've got a couple part-time engineers on top of that, but we're a tiny team, and everything is in progress. Like, there's just no question. Like, you're gonna see visual updates to this next week. Like layout updates. We already have layout updates getting pushed to production next week. We've got, like I said, we're going to be launching the smallest size SKU. So that'll be the cheapest version, will be under 150 for sure. Yeah. Everything is a work in progress, and I'm not ashamed about that. I think, and even TopShot is honestly a work in progress. You guys watch.
Is it?
Exactly. And
once we get off of this, we're going to talk about how much of a work in progress it is.
Exactly. So I'm not ashamed at all. This looks like garbage in some moments, like just in terms of layout and UI.
Yeah.
We always have ways to improve. And so getting that kind of feedback in general is great. Like, this is a great question.
Yeah. It sort of looks, it does not look to me to be, there's no rhyme or reason to it right off the bat. Like the fact that Naz Reid is right there, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then there's another Naz Reid, or I thought I saw another Naz Reid, but it's not like order that I purchased these. It's not like order that I acquired them. I went to the back. These aren't like the most recent moments that I purchased or anything like that. I don't think they are. You go ahead.
I bet it's something like the moment ID in their database or something, and they're just not sorting it when they send it back, and it's like something like that behind the scenes.
Yeah, that is the most likely. But what do you guys want? I mean, you guys are TopShot heads. What do you guys want?
Good question.
Sort by rarity.
Sort by rarity. Yeah, you should, at least in terms of like, hey, you want. Well, rarity is going to be tough, but like, yeah, if you grouped it in terms of, hey, here's the legendary moments, here's the rare moments, here's the common moments. My guess is that the vast majority of people that own a legendary or rare, like that's where they'd start, unless there's a really meaningful moment to them that's like a common moment for some other reason, like a TopShot debut from base set series 1. But I think the capability of like sorting and filtering on some of the same things that you can sort and filter on in the marketplace might be helpful. So as long as you have access to the metadata, like, you in theory, I'm like solving engineering problems in my head, but I know it's much harder in practice. But yeah, if you can sort on the metadata in the same way that the marketplace does, like as long as there's some capability there, but it's easy enough. Like if you know what you're looking for, that's great. But from a browsing perspective, like unless I know that I need to go find the Joel Embiid, like I'm not going to be able to like page through 19 pages of my collection to figure that out. I just have to know that I'm going to go look for that. But if you're trying to do it from a, hey, browse and figure out which moment looks best, or it might be the right fit. I think sorting by rarity, or what you really need to do
is sale value. Someone puts that in the comments.
So you need to get Live Token or Moment Ranks or one of those other companies to do the fair market value and sort by that. Cause like the most expensive moments are very likely the ones that people are most proud of. With exceptions, that's not the rule necessarily, like categorically speaking, but if you've got $100,000 fair market value moment, like probably going to be the one that you're choosing.
That's your coded luxury option for
coded luxury, man. That's what it's all about. People in the
Are you a question with Cool Cats? Like obviously it's multiple NFTs. At the moment with the website, are you only able to do one print at a time? Or are you able to like chain link stuff, like with the Cool Cats print that you guys did?
So that is something that, yeah, I mean, even Roham himself suggested that we support exactly that, right?
Okay.
Let people say, here is a showcase that I put together of just my moments, or I just completed X, Y, or Z, challenge.
Team set, man. That's a home run.
Or a team
like a whole
set,
team or something. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely something that is on our roadmap for next year, no question. In general, our product is, from day one has been one object is one piece,
right?
Is one NFT. And so this idea of all of a sudden packing in 10 different tokens, there's a lot of, kind of industrial
problems
go into that.
And I assume licensing stuff too. Like if you're paying, I don't know if you're paying per unit or if it's a agreement where it's like categorically, I have all access to all things NBA TopShot. But if you have some level of per unit licensing, there's some hoops to jump through contract wise there.
That's also, thank you for reminding me. That is always something that we do. But I mean, honestly, no, I think that would be okay. I think we would be all right on that side. But
sports are a unique one in that regard. Like with the team thing is probably the only real use case that I would think that like if you could do,
sets.
The Lakers win the title and you could do the starting five, you know what I mean? Like for that year with the title badges on them and all that stuff. Like I could see that, but I also do totally get your point of kind of like maintaining sort of the core principle of
one equals one. Thing. One ETH is one ETH.
Right. One toad is one toad. One Cool Cat's one Cool Cat.
Yeah, I agree though. T-Wolves 999. It would be cool to have the capability of doing a showcase, like if there was a capped thing, or something along those lines. That might be a cool function. But hey, Joe, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know we're coming up, probably past your bedtime. But we really do appreciate it. You joining us. You want to leave people with anything? You want to any other crazy news other than the 5-inch thing that you're going to share?
Yeah, I mean, the 5-inch thing is really exciting. I do think that in terms of casual collectors, like that's just exciting. And honestly, the 5-inch size looks like a framed baseball card. It literally, the display is almost exactly the same aspect
3x4, and then
as a framed baseball card. And I think that is so it's a beautiful thing there. I think what I would love, this community is so exciting to be a part of, and what we're really looking for is feedback, right? This is the very beginning of what it means to authentically print a digital asset, right? And have a physical twin of a digital asset that you own provably, and that is authenticated by the IP owner, by the league themselves, right? And so
sorry, I had to put that one up there.
Love that. Well, there's a 10-inch. There's a 10-inch you can get today.
There's a 10-inch.
That's pretty exciting.
For those of you that are lying to yourselves, there's
live today. And so, getting that kind of input, like from you guys here, but also from the people like listening, like we're all about, where should this go? Like, what do you want to see? And so, tweet at us, at Infinite Objects, and also, share with your community privately, like on your Discords. Like, let's iterate and let's get to a place where you want to be able to show these off IRL, and it's not just all online, and it's something that can literally be a part of your space and your
for sure. I know the one thing, and it came up, they were talking about it on Club TopShot 2 days ago. I don't know if you follow them, but Jack Settleman was talking about, he's like, I wish it had a stand. Like that was the one thing that he said, like, I wish there was a stand because it falls over and my cat knocks it over or whatever the case is. But if there's a way to like put it at least like a stand or like a wall mount situation where it fit and it had the capability of like having the charger connected in a way that like didn't prevent it from being like flush with the wall or something. Those are other things there from a hardware perspective. That said, if you need anything from us, like offline outside of here, if you want to talk, Chugs and I obviously have them now. We are very engaged and involved with the Cool Cats community. Everybody, or the vast majority of the people in there, have the Cool Cats one. If you want to do like a little focus group, or like, hey, let's get a call together with 5 or 10 people to do some like feedback stuff, or happy to help coordinate some of that, so you don't have to necessarily go through the red tape at Dapper. If you just looking for some candid stuff, happy to set up calls for any of that. So we can talk offline.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we will absolutely do that. Like,
any help we can give. Yeah, and, I'm free. I'm very free next week. I don't have much going on.
I'm sure that's true. The 10. I do want to say the 10-inch comes with a stand. This 10-inch has a beautiful acrylic block stand, and it's in every single box. So the 7-inch, you will be able to buy a stand as an add-on for like, I don't know, $6 or $8 or something. And it's a beautiful.
Jack up the price on that one.
Okay.
$7. That's nothing.
It's certainly worth it, I think, because like you said, we do get that feedback for sure. That's why we rushed that production, and those will be available like I don't know, very, very like before the end of the year for sure. But the 10 inches all come with the stand, and it's awesome. The 10 inch is so heavy, it's like a framed magazine. It's like the Cool Cats, that 7-inch size is a beautiful size,
and it's got some heft to it for sure. I mean,
it's got heft. It weighs almost twice as much.
CSI 2022, New York City.
Wow. Yeah. Seriously.
Oh, we've made that joke.
This is like who needs a baseball bat when an intruder comes?
Just keep that under your bed.
Freaking John Wick, this guy with it. Bam.
Yeah. Will it stop a bullet? That's
right.
Mythbuster. Next on Mythbuster.
No claims.
Guarantees. Anyway, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, Joe, thanks so much for hopping on. I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
please do.
Reach out.
Thanks,
we'll connect. All right, man. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Cool.
That was cool.
They have a lot of potential, like with the product that they have. If they like play their cards right, make the right relationships and stuff like that.
Because it's like a piece of hardware, but you don't realize that all the values in the software, like
the synergy,
the values in their authentication. Without that, it's just you're fighting with any other display. I feel like the hardware is awesome.
They've got a couple on just this isn't related to the back end part necessarily, but they apparently have like these wood kind of slabs now too. I don't know if y'all saw on the website. They look like it's like fake wood looking, And I could share a screen unless you just go to the home. Just go to the home page.
They have a sleek site too.
So you see the wooden ones with like, and they've got them like with a holiday background, make it a gift for your for whoever. If you hit there you go. Those that's the kind of shit that's tailor made to like send to grandparents or something, the grandkids or something. You know what I mean?
Feedback. Slow the scroll on this.
Slow it. Yeah.
5 seconds instead of 3.
Tell grandma she's got to plug her picture frame in.
I know, right? I had to explain.
Cool,
so we're not going to talk in detail because it's not like I still have to go through a background check, but I'm going to start at Coinbase in a couple weeks, assuming all things are good. And my grandma called and she was like, all right, called my grandma and she was like, so tell me about your job. And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to do
work
that.
Out.
Yeah. There's no way. My grandma's 90 years old. There's like, well, it's kind of like this. And like, no chance. I tried to use the like art example. Hey, Nano, you have all this stuff in your house. So like, you can sell that digitally. So, okay. Well, this isn't going to work. So yeah. So we won't go into detail with that. And maybe next week if things are all finalized and everything. But I'm very excited about my last day at Epic is next week and starting before Christmas at Coinbase, assuming all is well. So really pumped for that. So
congrats, my guy. You deserve
it. Dude,
yeah. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I didn't mean that. Like we have a group chat and I was like, I not just you guys, but like people in the chat too. I know a lot of, I'm seeing names pop up, Warren and Boss Swingman and, T-Wolves 999. Like you guys are here all the time and you're part of the community and you're part of like this community, but there's also other communities. And one of the things about Web3, kind of this ecosystem that we're in is like, it's decentralized, right? That's part of the context here, but it matters a lot like who you're connected with, and it's not necessarily just like the overlord that's overseeing you. Certainly career pivot stuff is scary, but your support, all of your support, 3 of you personally, and then, everybody else in the community as well, is like, it made for a very, not easy, but like made the right decision, easier to identify. So really pumped about that. I'll give you guys more information about that next week. But what that means is like the stream is in question, right? So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to do this indefinitely. So the next 2 weeks are probably going to be like maybe the wrap up of what this is, at least in its current iteration. Especially if I have a feeling that the stuff that I'm going to be working on with them, assuming again that all this goes through, there's just some stuff that you like having a conversation or conversations around this stuff is like maybe not the easiest thing to gel with, but we'll keep everybody informed. So I appreciate all the support over the last 8 or 9 months or so. And we'll have a couple more weeks. We'll give you advance notice. If we do have a last stream, I will make sure like we're going to spend 30 minutes. Everybody has to like cancel their subscriptions, because I don't want like we're going to go through it together. I'm going to walk you through how to cancel your Twitch subscription, so that no one is just going to like accidentally keep paying me or keep paying us for $4.99 a month. But yeah, we'll figure things out as we go. But we are ostensibly a TopShot focused stream, ostensibly at least. And we haven't really talked S3 stuff yet. So we've had October 21st. No, October 19th was the tip-off game that I went to in Milwaukee. Bucks played the Nets. I've seen the Nets twice this year because I went with Taylor in Brooklyn when we were in NFT NOC. So we are now 6 or 7 weeks into the NBA season, and 4+ weeks into the TopShot season. So open forum. Before we start talking about Swish Dreams, where your head's at? Where are we at?
I mean, I've already said my piece on kind of like where I think things are with the content that they've rolled out. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse with it. I just think that it was kind of a misfire, making the early releases so explicitly, or I guess not explicitly, implicitly, like it's obvious that it's just a bunch of trade ticket fodder for S1 packs right now. I get the whole, you don't want to have too much of a good player or whatever, but I think they should have tried to hold true to being sort of the scrapbook of the NBA and putting out the best players or the best moments, at least like right out the gate, doing that. And putting out the moments that have kind of highlighted the early parts of the season so far. I think if you're trying to onboard a bunch of new people, you're not really going to get that much excitement seeing a bunch of clips of people ripping packs where like they rip 3 and like there's a chance they could pull like a Giannis or a Chris Paul, but the majority of packs are 3 relatively anonymous players in the league. Maybe you get a rookie, I guess. But I just don't think that kind of from a like mission standpoint really brings a lot of buzz to the product. Like that might not, I don't know. That's just kind of where I was at on it. I mean, I think the Flash Challengers are cool. I don't really think I don't have like a strong opinion on them either way with it. But that's really the only misfire that I kind of feel like at the beginning of the year, you should have really leaned heavy into star players, truly like the standout moments of names that have happened early in the year, and then players and rookies, and then players in new uniforms. Like the Fresh Threads set is cool, but I think I don't know. You should have done it with all the new players on new teams, their first game in that new uniform, like the first play or whatever, and made that an earlier set or something. I don't know. That's really it for me. Just so you guys take it away from there.
Do you think that Fresh Threads pack is better in a different year? I mean, obviously, like if you have a bigger name move, I could see that being,
100%.
more highly
100%.
wanted pack. So
I
think maybe
first year LeBron's on the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, for sure.
But yeah, so I think that's maybe something they've had in the hopper that they've been, wanting to roll out, and it's just kind of not the best year.
Unfortunate year, because who's the best? I mean, is it like Westbrook? Is that the
Westbrook,
most desirable?
Of the 15, he's the biggest name. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan are the other two, but like those are,
Lonzo, Carmelo.
Right, but but in terms of like who's going to be like an all-star this year, who changed teams, like it's Lowry and DeRozan basically.
Are they going to be all-stars?
Well, I think DeMar DeRozan definitely should be. Lowry might, but so well. I don't. Lowry gets a lot of. He's the hustle dude, and he's on one of the best teams, and I mean, who knows? But DeMar DeRozan definitely should be an all-star. I mean, people thought he was like no good because he was playing in like Siberia, aka the Spurs, but he's awesome. he's still awesome. He never got back.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think my only take on it is like I'm torn because I even wrote an article saying how like PAX should be minus EV for like a healthy platform, and I am torn because I liked the fact that with fresh threads it was just like, oh, no one's here, cool, we can go back like 5 times, like all the other degens with me that are buying as many packs as we can, like
5 times.
I thought that was cool, but I also can totally see how that could really drive people away from the platform if like you're guaranteed to be polling nothing too exciting. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle with those two conflicting ideas where I'm like, I love the idea of like, this is now a like healthy economic situation where it's like, if you want them, you can get them. If you want a lot, you can get a lot. And it's no longer this, like there's 20,000 packs for 250,000 people and you're going to 20x your investment guaranteed. It's a healthier position, but I think it's unfortunately going to drive a lot of people away from the platform because the excitement may not be there.
Well, there's a bit of a thin line too, I guess, when you want people to feel excited about what they're getting, but you're not trying to just enrich people, right? Like that shouldn't be the goal. But that's the thing is like, money aside, like it's not fun pulling like 3 reserve, like, or I say this, money aside, it's still, if you are a hoops fan or a collector or whatever, it still at least would be cool. Like for me, for example, I wouldn't care if it's a 60K, like Ja Morant doing something freaking awesome. Like I'm a Grizzlies fan and I like Ja Morant. Like that would be cool to pull that, whether it's worth $7 or $18, like, does that really change my life? No, it doesn't. And so, and for you guys, you could say the same thing about Steph or LeBron on the Lakers or Giannis or Middleton with the Bucks with you, Plunge. Like, the fact that right now the Series 3, the current content pool of Series 3 is like 99% cheeks. Like 99, like literally there is not a Evan Mobley and I guess like, I guess like the top 3 rookies. And the only reason people are attracted to the other rookies is just the scarcity angle. It's not even like I give a shit about the player or the moment or whatever. It's just, it's one of the few 4Ks out there right now.
Yeah. Do you want to play the game? Play the game of how many of these people have I ever heard of?
Oh God, no. Who he play for? Let's do it.
Yeah, who he play for? We'll do the Plunge. Who he play for? Chris Duarte Plunge. Who he play for?
I actually remember that guy, but I do. He's on the Magic, right? No,
he's not on the Pacers.
I actually have my Fresh Threads pack. I completely forgot. So we should rip it.
We will.
Yeah. But yeah, let's play this. This will be fun. You want to just go through? I mean, are you going to try a couple?
Plunge.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, you're muted, big dog.
Sorry, you're making a good point that there are there's 133 moments in base set, right? Of those 133 moments, how
many are marquee names?
6.
Like somebody you'd line up for if you were new
this is sorted by low ask. So this is sorted by low ask, and everybody that is not a rookie, 3-badge rookie, it's Melo. So everybody that's above $20. It's Carmelo's challenge reward. It's LaMelo's out of 10,000. And then that is it. So, and when you look at relative,
there is a Ja now though, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
but it's
there
only,
a 10K
it's like 12,
Ja?
yeah, it's $12.
But who cares about the money, Plunge? I'm saying like it's a marquee, it's an attractive like asset or not asset. Asset's the wrong word. It's an attractive collectible. Like, he's a popular player in the league who moves the needle, so to say. Like that's what I mean by names. Like, are there any other guys in there? I haven't looked at
Not
the
really.
latest. Like, there's
Not a whole lot.
no.
There's a
Is there
Giannis.
they're
They're all out
Donovan
of
Mitchell
62.
or anything yet? Like, there's nobody.
It's like every 60,000
Barren
is
wasteland.
yeah is all. There is a Luka. There is a Donovan Mitchell. There is a
So they're
like I
there
said,
now, but
the
are they 10Ks or are they 60?
they're all
'Cause
60s. There's only a
Okay.
handful of 10Ks.
Yeah.
So but to your point though about like relative like composition of the set, right? So composition of the set changes drastically when you increase the mint size of things, right? So when with S2, and part of the reason that they were EV plus so much was like relative scarcity of the set when there were only 15,000s. That's why it's a big reason why we saw the big run up. But when the packs that are used to distribute these moments are by and large like populated by these massive numbers, the chances of pulling something that's desirable, even if they're, you know, relatively speaking, same number or same spread of types of, you know, players, like even with S2, because the mint sizes were so much closer together and there were so much fewer of them, it was like a more even distribution. Now the chances of the smaller stuff is like skewed pretty drastically. Like the chances of pulling a rookie in a pack in S2 were way higher because this other stuff that was in the packs, there weren't 20,000 extra of each of them. So, you know, I think, Taylor, to your point, like financially better, but the spread of outcomes is way closer together, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be happy if there were lots and lots of things that were way low, but there were more potential for like high end type stuff. And that's like what we saw with the 7,500s and the 15,000s. And then when they went to 35,000s and 40,000s in S2, there were still those 7,500s and those 15,000s that at the time, at least, held some relative value compared to the larger minted things. But it's hard to get excited. There are things coming. So like where I feel right now is like there is a lull. We want there to be more. We want it to be more exciting. They are filling the gap with some of these flash challenges and whatnot. By all financial metrics, again, and this is a point that I made on the NFT pod with Dr. Jeremy, they've sold $10+ million worth of packs in S2.
Yeah, they're bleeding out the same people though. That's I want to see user growth more than just revenue generation, but that's a consumer take, not a
it's a consumer take for sure. And yes.
So I can see
but
that.
Hey, why do you want more people coming to the platform?
Because it'd be more fun that way.
No, because it pumps your fucking bags.
More capital to play with.
It pumps your fucking bags.
It's like fun.
It's not.
It might not necessarily pump my bags. It just brings more attention to the product. It's
so that the things that you bought earlier than the people that came here after you are going to have.
Well, it's like getting in on a band. It's like getting in on a band. Well, it's like getting in on a band before everybody else. You
more people to buy moments from you, right?
You want to be the one who can say, "I was here before everyone thought it was cool. I was here first." Kind of.
Congratulations, you're not here before everybody else. We had like, and that's okay. You know, like.
Well, relative to what you'd hope that the future is for TopShot, you're there before everybody else. I mean, so, if we're in the first 15,000 users and this sucker is 1 million in like 2 years or something, like you're clearly you were there early or whatever.
Yeah, but the premium product. So we talk about the future of fandom. We talk about all this different stuff. Like the cardboard market corollary here is like TopShot is coming closer and closer to that. And for anybody that doesn't collect cardboard, like. There are really expensive things that are really, really rare that people want. And there's a lot of stuff that's trash, but people don't broadly pan cardboard because a lot of it's trash. The hunt for the rare thing is the game and it's fun. And the problem that we have now, in my opinion, at least in the last 6 weeks, is that right now, the only major hit that you can have, like the only like joyous, oh my God, I ripped a pack and it had this in it, is
a number one cereal.
A number one, a jersey, a really, really low cereal, or one of 3 rookies. That's it. Like those are there's that's it.
It's like the worst slot machine right now.
Go ahead, Greg.
For sure.
Well, and I think part of that though is like cardboard and like the stuff that Topps was doing. They mixed sets, so you had the chance to get rare tokens or rare cards
like
within just normal packs. Yeah. So I mean that's kind of always going to be the issue, right? Like unless you're mixing in some of that other stuff, which I know that they've kind of avoided because of like the whole loot box thing. Like, how do you avoid that, right?
You avoid it by having, and I think where things will start to pick up is when we start to get the rare drops, like the scheduled rare and legendary drops throughout the season. So we don't have any MGLEs yet. We don't have any holos yet. We don't have any of the like throwdown rares. We don't have any of the all-star game stuff that's going to come up in February. We don't have any of the stuff that's like, hey, this is the stuff that I'm shooting for, or that I'm building my collector score to become available, or like building my dapper to buy this thing that's a little more scarce, or whatever the case is, right? Like the common stuff was scarce relative to the common stuff now. So that's okay and all well and good to collect, but we're not at the point yet. And it's unfortunate that like I would have had if I was TopShot, I would have had a rare drop sooner, because it's like, that's what people shoot for. That's what people are going for. And so, I think that, go ahead.
Well, so I'll meet you in the middle on that. Then you saying they should have a rare drop, that sort of, that might as well align close enough with me saying like the good shit in terms of good players, right, good moments. Like they should have had something like not necessarily high value, but I know that kind of runs exactly the same. And, you know, like right, they should have had some good shit ready to go early, like within the first, whether it's a tip off set or something, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the run it back was a part of that for sure, but it is not the current players, right? It's not right, it's not the Ja, it's not the Zion, it's not the, Zion may not be that exciting this year, but like, it's not Giannis, it's not LeBron, it's not, you know, insert name, Luka, any of these, like, you know, 10 players, Trey, handful of others, right? 10 players that like have something that you actually want to collect other than these really, really low value because they're so common. And I think the other thing too with this, like the lack of desirable stuff, generally speaking, other than rookies for a 6-week period, right, when the season is starting up, is really challenging. The second part of this equation, though, is that when right now we see the minting increasing to 60,000 as like, whether or not you think or you have ideas that there are going to be bigger things down the line, right now the only thing they are good for, because they're not good for collector score, they're not good for a handful of them are okay for team set completion, rookies being the specific example. But other than trade tickets for one specific application of that new currency, which only 500 people had access to, and it was cost prohibitive because there's still not enough supply to support it at a reasonable cost to acquire. Like it's very tough to square those two things, where like for 6 weeks, the whole reason, or at least the stated reason for us to make commons common, or not stated, I should say, the assumed or implicit reason that commons are common, that these mint counts are so massive, is to afford these trade ticket concepts, these deflationary mechanics for this secondary ticketing system, this secondary currency within the Dapper ecosystem. And even if they're planning on bigger, better, cooler, a variety of different ways that you can leverage trade tickets as a token for something else, the only thing that we can see right now that's actually tangible for those things are a very difficult to acquire pack that has a really wide spread of outcomes that you weren't even guaranteed, or total cheek packs. So it's really hard to like, okay, I can understand why there's all this 60,000 supply that I'm just acquiring because I'm acquiring it because that's what's available in packs without knowing what's coming for those things. So you have to trust, if you're going to play that game, you have to trust that there's going to be some other application for that stuff. Otherwise, is the whole like the feeling, and I think many people may just not be stating it. Like if the whole point of it, of making it not scarce, is to create a situation where they're not valuable and you turn them in so that you can try and get something valuable, the thing that you're turning in to get valuable, or the thing that you're trying to acquire by turning those things in, is so hard to wrap your hands around right now that it's like, it's not worth it. It's not fun. And you saw all those threads and all those people, big names in the space, big collectors that like slogged through hours and hours and hours and hours of trying to accrue 350 trade tickets for that S1 pack. Like that's the most exciting thing that happened on the platform in 6 weeks. And only 500 people got to open them. And if you're trying to appeal to 50,000 people or 70,000 people that line up for the packs week in and week out, and those, 69,500 of them are getting crap, like there's only so much crap that people are willing to take on. So I'm really hopeful that they have some things coming up that are like rare and exciting. I love the flash challenges. I think that's great. It's cool. But right now there's just like not a ton of exciting stuff happening, at least with the S3 set, that like gets me going, at least as the type of collector that I am.
There aren't any banger moments in terms of scarcity or in terms of like the moment itself, or like there's no like, oh man, you got to get like, the
NBA
freaking,
TopShot this.
Yeah,
NBA TopShot
like
this, but don't mint it to 60.
You got to get the last. You got to get freaking what Anthony Edwards just did the other day, or you got to get what Steph just did the other day, or whatever. Like that's not there yet, and so hopefully, I would have hoped by now in the first month they would have had at least a decent amount of that already out there, but it's not there right now. And like I said, it feels like it was. It just feels very transparent. Like it was, these are going to be trade tickets. Like, here you go.
Well, and
line
that
up,
was the thing. That was the thing. And
and that's fucking did,
and we continue to, and for
hoping
people that
are hoping for a number one serial or a 4K Evan
and that's
Mobley.
Exciting. Like that's kind of like what's happening in cardboard too. Right. But the thing that, people that say there's not demand, no, there is. Like I refuse to acknowledge that there is like, TopShot's on the way down if they sell out every single pack. If there is like, until there is a time when there are packs available for anybody to purchase other than brand new signups, like for the starter packs or whatever, like I refuse to acknowledge that the demand is not there.
All right,
yeah, there may not be as unique people, but there's plenty of demand.
All right, how about this then, Plunge? If there's no S1 reserve pack carrot dangling, do they still just gangbusters sell out every whatever freaking 750,000 packs that they've sold? Absolutely not.
And that's my gripe, is like
that's total carrot engineering, man. It's total like Fugazi shit,
and the carrot's only there because of a weird obscure situation where there's S1 packs that didn't get released. And that's the part that feels weird, is like we're all doing this as a weird
faux deflationary kind of thing.
Yeah, like, but once all that settles and we're back to being on track, that's the part that's a little frightening, where it's like, to Chugs' point, I don't think people are lining up and just mindlessly buying packs if you don't have this weird carrot dangling out there that's just an obscure situation.
Unless the stuff in there is meaningfully spread in terms of like the potential lottery hits within the packs themselves. Because right now the lottery hits, like, okay, there's 133 moments in the S1 base set. That means if you take, let's say a single digit serial is like a lottery hit. The jersey number is a lottery hit. And then, so you got 10 times 130. That's 1,330 lottery hits out of however many packs that they've sold. Plus, let's say all of the Mobleys or all of the whatever, Scotty Barnes, like any of the top three, right? Like any of those is a lottery hit. Like, and right now, that's like a minuscule percentage. It's like a 0.02% chance of any of the packs that have come out of hitting the lottery, which like that's not enough to sustain like people just continuing to roll the slot machine, right? Because it's just not going to sustain itself long term unless there's something else, and the value or like the contents of the pack become more desirable. To Chugs' point about like cooler plays, better players, even if they don't mint everything to 60,000 or whatever, but like there's got to be more than that.
And ahead, to the points here in the comment around like dangling the carrot for the next year and a half, I think that part rubs me the wrong way, where it's like you can just tear the Band-Aid off and be like, fuck it, January 1st, we're getting all the S1 packs, we're getting rid of them, or like half of, do it in like, they could be doing this quickly. And if you want to get 3,500 trade tickets and get 10 of these, like go for it. It just feels weird for me that they're like, oh, we're going to spread this out over a year and a half. It just feels like a forced way to force engagement for a year and a half, which I'm like, I get it from a business perspective.
Yeah,
but like,
I was going to say,
you don't have to do it this way. You could just say, fuck it.
No,
it ensures
I don't think
they'll sell 300,000 packs.
Yes and no.
Problem,
Yes and no. The argument for trickling it out is to not do the supply shock to the existing moments. And you see it right now. Like if you look at the S1 stuff that was out there, the value of any of the LeBron, the LeBron went down like 50%, right? At least on paper. And there's no meaningful way to do that without massive supply if you're going to do pay to play, right? So if it's a concept of this deflationary tokenomics of, hey, you got to use moments to accrue these things, that's one thing. Because what they don't want, and it's smart, the reason that they set the threshold of the trade tickets at a particular element, they know exactly what the EV of these packs are. They know exactly what they are, right? Yeah. And they don't want 95% of people taking L's on them. And so if they're either you make it a trade ticket system like this, which is the route that they went, or you sell them for a price that is commensurate with like what's within the contents of those packs. So I would have much preferred. There's 10,450 or something like that. So like I would much prefer sell them for $500. That's what I would have.
And be like, let's get it done with
that. Just get it out and just get them out there.
Yeah. And the whole like
make a collector score, have a collector score, Requirement or whatever, and just get them out.
Yeah.
And like as far as I don't want to deflate those S1 moments, it's like, well, maybe those S1 moments are incorrectly priced. Like the market's not efficient for those. If they're concerned, like we don't want to have the LeBron take a tumble. It's like, well, then it's just.
But their point shouldn't be enrichment or market stuff, which I know
it has to be though. It has to be though, because that's been the biggest gripe over the last 8 or 9 months is that like there is no stability in the market and they can do whatever they want whenever they want. So like I applaud them to that degree of like they are trying to make a very intentional effort to not like crush people on paper, that whether or not the on paper stuff is legitimate and efficient, to your point, Taylor, like I can understand not trying to approach supply shock for those things, but it seems really, really interesting that they care so deeply about those 40,000 moments when like literally one S3 moment is that's only 2/3 of one of the 133 moments, right? Like when you talk about the number of NFTs
like if we could physically see these as cardboard, you'd be like, holy shit, these are different orders of magnitude.
The thing too is like to your point, Plunge, like if you were to have just sold those for X price, just rip the Band-Aid off or whatever, you could kind of move on and like progress and focus on S3 now for real. Because right now S3 is a zombie product. Like it is.
I'd be fine. Like forget the Band-Aid situation. Let's say that they said, okay, we're going to do a drop a month, 500 each. It's going to be $500. Like do that. Perfect. Instead of this, like, hey, collect these things to trade them in. What it does tell me, and I hope this is the case. And I, generally speaking, have trusted Dapper. I think they're doing the right things generally. There is going to be more with trade tickets. There, period. Full stop.
There has to be.
And if
merch
there's not
or something, anything.
And if there's not, or if it's not, like not just one thing, but like 5 things or 15 things. Like if there's not in like not that far off, then holy cow, what are you doing? Because that's like, if this was the only mechanism or this was the only utility for those things planned or otherwise, maybe they have ideas, but like they need to have these things ready to go, because that it's just, if you just increase supply for the sake of doing this thing, like for one specific release valve, like, oh man, I think they're doing more than that, but like,
dude,
it's tough.
even if the trade tickets are like, trade 50 tickets in for, you know, half off a jersey or some crap, or like a coupon code or something, like anything that's half off is pretty aggressive. That's actually pretty sweet. Like 20% off, whatever, you know, like that shouldn't be hard things to kind of coordinate, like with the NBA and all that kind of stuff. What if you were to go outside of the platform itself, or you can use it for just buying current packs, not necessarily locker packs or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be other
like, I wish they got to flesh out their full design for trade tickets without going through this unnecessary detour of like making them be this thing and having S3, to Chugs' point. It feels like S3 is S1 with like one of those glasses and fake mustaches on right now. It's just like, we're all doing this thing because like we're really here for the S1 packs. Really.
Which ironically are so not worth it right now. Like, I mean, for the money, like
even less so now because of the way that the price is greater.
We had one guy. I mean, we had one guy in the Plungeon who I mean, he got a LeBron, like boom, saved it. But you don't get that LeBron, and you've paid $1,000 for $350 or $450, like straight up, like you've paid $1,000 to get kneecapped. And it's stuck in Dapper anyway, and you're paying 5% rip on your sale, and you know, like it's just
spicy.
It's true though. Like
it's there. But I think the speculation stuff. So back to what I think they're doing well. I love the flash challenges. I think they're really cool. It does definitely create some of the interesting, weird market dynamics with like, hey, this moment pumps for no reason, but like that's kind of fun. Like if it's not,
it's fun at the end of the day.
It's an opt-in situation. It's a pack. It's not like, oh, hey, there's going to be this like really rare thing that like, hey, if you know, there's only going to be 200 of these moments, and as a result, the value of that thing gets skyrocketed. Like, you know, I think as long as they're giving away, relatively speaking, not that expensive things, like the corresponding pump won't be as massive. If they start giving away, hey, by the way, the flash challenge this week is for an S1 pack, guess how much Monte Morris is going to be? $1 quadrillion, right? Like it's a function of what the expected outcome of the thing that you're going for is. Like there is market efficiency that gets met because there's enough actors in the market at this point that like there is some level of stasis. There's still dum-dums out there that are spending way too much money on these trash moments for like not the return. But it is a good way to sort of like engage people with this season. And I know I saw a ton of stuff on Twitter of like, hey, I actually paid attention to games tonight, which is like, that's a good thing. We want people to do that. It's fun to stay engaged and like be involved in the platform. So,
and if the market's getting flooded with 60Ks and more players have 60K versions of them, of moments,
it'll be cheaper and cheaper.
These flash challenges, suddenly there's like no pump because it's just like, there's so much supply going around that like it's accessible. Too large of an object to actually have a pump happen for, and it's now like just a fun giveaway. I was just confused by the last bucket at the half flash challenge where like the biggest gripe seemed to be like, hey, let's not pump random guys. And when you do like a stat category, it's like, all right, probably
it's
4
generally
out of the top
speaking
6 are going to be like guys we know.
Unless was it Norman Powell that got the blocks the other night?
Well, and like the last bucket before the half, I was like, you're just asking for something extremely absurd to happen.
Is it Monte Morris? Monte Morris is the crazy one.
I think he was the most.
Yeah, that's the rando one.
How much did that one go to?
I can't even remember.
It's not that much.
Should I have sold it instead of getting my pack?
Yeah.
I
hope I don't open one in this fresh threads pack or whatever.
$20. Wow, I probably should have sold it versus getting my S2 pack.
He doesn't have an S3 one. That's why. Yeah. So anyway, we've talked a lot about TopShot. You guys have a project. You want to talk about that?
We do.
Do you want to rip a pack before or no?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's rip a pack quick, and then we'll bring up Sarah.
Is Sarah backstage?
She's backstage.
All right. Yeah, we can rip. If she wants to come on for a pack rip,
I
think she came on last time. I think she was on for a pack rip last time.
You were on for a pack rip last time. You were.
Yes.
Ooh, what do I do during the pack rip?
You just
watch
just
it.
get hyped.
I just
Tell
cheer.
us.
I get hyped.
I have that sweatshirt, by the way.
I've got some good slap house music that's gonna play in the background.
Slap house. That's my new genre.
Greg's a big fan of slap house. I still have no fucking clue what that is, but you know,
There's a whole playlist on Spotify.
it's slap house.
Slap house, tropical house. Get in there.
All the houses.
All right.
My number one song this year was Iron Man because my 2-year-old loves Iron Man and he makes me play Black Sabbath every time we get in the car. So
that's nice.
That's awesome.
Mine was a lullaby song. I need to get that shit off the Alexa. It's terrible. Or the Echo or whatever. It's like it was some lullaby song.
All right.
Fresh so we got fresh threads.
So the hit is, what is the hit here?
Yeah, what do we? You've got to add more funds up. What am I wanting to get other than one of the rookies?
Kelly Oubre Jr. apparently.
Tsunami Poppy.
That's hilarious.
Well, all right. Let's see.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre Jr. is $19. Why is Kelly Oubre Jr. $19?
Why is Taysom Hill just throwing it to the other team all the time? He's literally thrown.
Literally, no one cares.
Chugs, back to the pack.
Sorry. Okay, I'm okay.
Focus.
right here, guys.
He's a team bottleneck, apparently.
Oh, I was hoping Fresh Threads would actually have its own track. I didn't realize it was.
Yeah,
that's another part of the experience, man. They gotta step that shit up.
They gotta get Hosh connected up, man.
All right, let's pick one. Come on. Donovan Mitchell. All right, he's a star player. I didn't even know he was in Series 3 yet. Jeff Green. The most fool's gold player of the last 12 years. Everybody thinks Jeff Green's like the missing piece. He was on the Grizzlies. He's not the missing piece. What we got here? Christian Wood. Good player in a wasteland team right now. That had to be. How's that not a technical?
Should have been
technical. Like what is that? What is that shit right there? All right, fresh thread. Here we go. What's the fresh thread?
Schroeder.
Little 4 digi. Number 71. That's random as hell. All right. No look alley-oop. That works. All right. So pretty much a cheek back. That's a cheek back without a doubt.
I'm disappointed they all said common. I was hoping for a word besides common.
Well, it's a common pack, so therefore the way that they are set up, because it's been mentioned before, like kind of loot box. They don't want to like slip in like higher scarcity or lower scarcity stuff that's not deemed common still. It's weird.
So you could only pull common things. What were you hoping for then? Low numbers?
Now, well, low serial numbers, but they do have commons that are significantly lower counts. Like all of the rookies have a rookie debut moment. Like their rookie debut NFT is only one of 4,000, whereas like these are like 60,000. They're like, they're dime a dozen, dime a gazillion.
So it's like they're all common, but they have more rare commons, which is an interesting take.
But they don't change the word, so you don't get that feeling.
Yes, you don't get the excitement. You don't get like a fancy border around.
That's what I was hoping for. Like, where's the gold one? Like,
yeah. No, those are going to be for the much more expensive drops. Like that pack was it $14 retail, and I actually got an airdrop to me for owning a particular set moments already, so it was free for me. But yeah, so I'm excited to have you guys back. Plunge clearly dipped for a second.
I think he's got some kiddos screaming in the
background. Let's talk Swish dreams, so I can take notes and make Brick Nightmares, a banger in a couple of months.
We can do it. So, do you want to pull it up on your end?
Share screen.
Like share your screen real quick?
I can do that for sure. Well, shit. Hopefully, I actually can't do it because Plunge Daddy's got all the I don't think so. I could try. Well, I have a share button, but I don't think I can like enable it or whatever.
Plunge Daddy can pull it up.
The controller guy. But so I don't know. Did he say like he's gone? Oh, Plunge said I can pull it up.
He's responding.
Okay. Yeah. SwishDreamsNFT.com. I've got it up, but
you got it up.
You know. I mean, I have it, but I
wanted to have it in the pulled up so we could look at it. He just said
share. Without a doubt, man. Here, share. Okay. I hit share. Hopefully there we go. We're good.
There you go. Awesome. So yeah, this has been in the works for a couple of months now. Greg and I got initially kicked it off, and we brought in Sarah to help us with all the smart contract stuff. But in case people in the stream hadn't seen it yet, the idea is sort of a combination of data visualization, sports, and artwork. So each NFT is like a dynamically generated shot chart based on a player's game that they have. And the idea really stemmed from like, I'm a huge, Dubs fan, thinking about like, if you ask me what's my favorite basketball moment, it's probably not like a particular play or anything like that. It's probably, for me, it's when Clay had like 37 points in one quarter.
Against the Grizzlies, right? I'm pretty sure it was. I thought it was against the Grizzlies.
Is another team that could give it up, but it was against the Kings. So, and recalling back to that, I like watch videos on YouTube of it all the time, just like watching it over again, seeing people talk about it in articles. I'm always fascinated by it, but like the part that felt missing for me was I wanted some tangible thing, just a piece of art or something that represented it, that like told that whole story. And Chugs, I know you're all about narrative value, so that's sort of what we're going for here, is some way that we can capture what a player did on a given night and really tell the story of their night. And if it is something historical, something awesome, we have an NFT for it. And even in the case where it's not something historical, not something awesome, something that the artwork at the end that it generates by the way that we're plotting the shot charts is something cool to look at, and actually a cool piece of art at the end of the day. It's not just a dud if it's not a meaningful game. So we can dive in all the details, but yeah, essentially there are these shot charts here where the legend, I think if you scroll, I don't know if it's up or down from here. Yeah, down a little bit, is the later in the game the shot is, the larger the circle, and then the more sort of on fire they were when they made that shot, the color changes there. And there's a whole long process to go into how we landed on this from some of our early sketches that were pretty rough looking.
So, I mean, yeah, I went to the legend spot, and then I wanted to go back up to a couple of visualizations. So basically here, this is like Edwards, like cannot miss, because like everything's red basically in the sky.
And
it's late too. Like,
and you can kind of see, like, you can start with the smaller circles and kind of work your way larger and larger to see his way throughout the game. Like he earlier on made something around the free throw line, top of the 3-pointer or something in the paint, but later in the game you can see as they're getting larger and larger, then he was finishing at the rim and had a corner three there at the end.
And these are all makes, right?
They're all makes.
Like they're all makes, yeah. Okay.
You see Randall there had a rough night where they're all blue, but it's still a cool chart where you realize like, oh, I didn't know Randall only goes left. Like I had no idea, and it's cool to see these things and tell that story.
Well, I was gonna say one of the more unique ones that because everybody kind of wants to see the like NBA Jam, he's on fire type chart, but it is kind of cool to be able to see one where maybe somebody does kind of light it up, but like I don't know if you guys might have seen it. Like, is there anybody out there who like never made more than like one or two shots in a row, but like still kind of like had a pretty impressive like layout, you know what I mean? Like
we didn't include Westbrook, but there's your guy if you're looking for someone.
Like basically it's like all over the board, a bunch of makes, but like it's nothing but like blue and purple.
I'm sure it's
like
out there
everywhere.
Yeah.
But so I guess the next thing to kind of ask about, like how did you come to, like, first off, who are the players? Or not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I'll scroll down to like the actual names, but like you've only got, you obviously don't have the entire league, right? And I think that's smart because I mean, I don't want to see like the Bones Highland. I don't want to pull like a Jeff Green chart from some random game, this year.
Right.
So like what was kind of your thought process there in terms of like who you're going to use?
Yeah, so we tried to take one player from each team and then the top 5 rookies out of the draft. And there are some cases in which we have more than one player on a team if there were like a couple studs on the team. So for instance, like James and Davis and Los Angeles, like they're both included. So if they're absolute studs, then we have more than one player per team. And I think kind of the importance of that is we wanted to pick guys who are going to perform night in and night out, because we are doing like a full 82 game slate for this season for these players. So it was important for us to pick guys who would perform well and would put out charts that, are visually appealing.
And there were cases where we were choosing between, for a given team, you have a guy that might get more buckets, but we're going to pick someone who maybe scores about the same, but they shoot more from the outside because we think it's going to be a more interesting visually piece at the end when we have shots scattered around the 3-point line and all around versus, someone that just works in the paint.
I'm just going to say,
There's a little bit of big man bias.
I'm really upset that you have 2 Orlando guys and you only have 1 Memphis guy.
Well, we did the first 5. We did the first 5 rookies, and Memphis is too good to have a first 5 picks. So there you go.
I know. I see Cole Anthony obviously worth throwing in there. He's good for a buzzer beater every so often, and Suggs being a rookie. I'm still waiting though. You're gonna fit in like an honorary Kyle Anderson for me or something. I'm waiting.
Special 1 of 1 for you.
It'll probably never happen, but one can dream. So the next thing about it is, to me, like when you guys brought it out, the court designs and stuff like that. So like, here's an example that I'm showing, like, kind of explain that what's going. I mean, it looks cool. I can tell that, they get kind of progressively, a little more intricate, a little more unique. And I've seen some other ones that you guys have tweeted out that are, I mean, like personally, like the Grizzly one's awesome. The Atlanta MLK one is awesome. Some of them are like really well done and detailed. So like, explain courts. Is that Greg or is that Taylor?
That'd be me. Yeah.
That's Greg. Yeah.
Yeah. We put together, 5 courts per team, kind of varying in rarity. So you'll see we do 3 NFTs per game per player. So with that, one of the courts will always be the base for that team. So you'll see over there, the left, that yellow court is the base court for Oakland. And then for the other 2 courts, there's probabilities assigned as to which of the other 4 get assigned to that. So you can see we have a We Believe here for Oakland, and then the Brotherly Love court for Oakland. 2 of the rare choices of the remaining 4 courts. So it's kind of a fun thing. I mean, I had a blast putting them together, just going through, old jersey colorways, old courts. I think we have a couple examples. I don't know if Taylor, you can pull those up at some point. We can look at like a full slate of them. Yeah. Can we see this one?
There we go. Yeah.
So here's Atlanta. Like for Atlanta. So to what Greg was saying, for like the mechanics, for each player, there's 3 per game. We're guaranteed to make one on the base court, which is like the simplest single color. We picked a color for each team. And then the remaining 2 are chosen probabilistically out of here. So I believe we did like a 35% chance. One's going to be a free throw, one's going to be a fadeaway, and then the other ones get lower and lower in rarity. And you'll see that the base, free throw, and fadeaway are sort of standard courts that we have for each team. So every team has a base, a free throw, and a fadeaway, where it's a similar design, just different colorways, a different gradient on this one. And then we sort of got to get wild with 2 of them for the specialty courts here. So here's all the 5 we put together for Atlanta. Had to go with like the throwback to the Dominique jersey here, and the MLK court as well. And then I've got a couple other ones here. So I think we tweeted this one out. We did the Houston set here, which I don't know if you guys saw their space. Did you guys see the new city jerseys for this season? They're like, I love them. They're like navy and white and red, and they're They're spicy.
Isn't it the callback to the rocket, the actual like NASA looking uniforms, basically? I can't remember.
Yeah.
So are the courts associated with the home team in the game or the player, or could it
home team
be different?
Yeah. So that, I mean, that's kind of the fun part, right? So you'll get a court for, you know, Antetokounmpo playing in LA, and it's on an LA court. So you kind of like it'll throw you off a little bit at first, but like the fact that you can get like a mix, they're not all like, you're not always going to get an Antetokounmpo on like a green Milwaukee court. Like you can get it a few different ways, which makes it a little bit more interesting to look at.
Also Road Warrior, man, like little narrative there, like knowing that dude like ripped somebody's heart out, you know, on the road somewhere else, you know, like a Laker did it in Boston or whatever, you know.
That kind of gets to like the keepsake aspect of it, where like recently when I was back home for Thanksgiving, I went to a game with my wife, and she like traditionally doesn't watch basketball, but first time going to a game in forever. Went with her. She loved it. She had a fantastic time, and we left, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love basketball. That was so much fun." And I was like, this is an amazing night. I wish I had something to like remember going to a basketball game with my wife and having her love it. So I was like, the idea that really clicked for me that I'm like passionate about and really think highly of is the idea of going to a game or watching a game on TV and being able to have one and like anticipate watching the game, knowing that you're watching it all unfold in front of your eyes. It's not some, you know, randomly generated piece of art that's happening behind the scenes on a server you don't even see. It's like the randomization's happening in the real life, and you get to see it happen right in front of you.
So here's one thing that I mean, I kind of know one part of this, but I'd like to kind of throw it to you guys to fill in the blanks. So some of these are obviously going to be, well, first off, when is the actual launch? When is the actual like public sale? Has that been set yet or no?
So the access list is open. You can join today. Monday, the access list minting starts. And then on Friday, public minting starts afterwards.
This is next week, right?
Yeah, so next coming.
Yeah. So you're minting, you've got the X amount of players, you've got every game this year. So you're going to be minting, like a lot of people are going to be pulling up stuff where like you're literally getting just a blank court and it's got a date and the player and the game, right? Like that's what you can get. Like you can pull something that hasn't happened yet. And then like, I guess to fill this in, and I don't know if this was something that was intentional or, you know, kind of cool, but like if there was a game, like for me, Grizzly guy, there's a Friday.
No way.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, it's not like I'm maybe I'm traveling. All right. Maybe I'm going to Dallas and I'm like, oh shit, there's like a Luka Friday night game, like Swish Dreams. That's like for sale that I can buy and I can own it. And then I can go to the game and then like, I'll have it, you know, after it, whatever populates from that game. Like is, you know, that to me, like that was kind of a cool kind of thing where you can kind of like have the NFT before the game occurs. And then you could actually like make a play to like go to that game because you have the NFT. I don't know if that was like a conscious, you know, like I think
initially we talked about like when we first started chatting about it, we were like, man, the timing is kind of weird because we're season starting in like 2 weeks. There's no way we can do this project before the season starts or however many weeks out it was. But I think it's actually a fun aspect that this is all, we're launching this right, you know, in like a quarter of the way through the season, because we have some that are already finished, some that are upcoming, and some of them are upcoming. You know, the season's long. Some of them are in April, so you have something that you get to like look forward to. Some of them are next week, and I liked that it was this sort of evolving NFT where it's not just like on reveal day you find out if you hit it big or not, and then you move on with your life. Like it's something that lives on and has this longer time scale to it. And even for the upcoming games, we put in the effort to make the artwork something cool. And it's not just like a blank ticket that's like, you know, redeem this in April. But Greg put together this awesome artwork that surrounds the court. So, you know, the player and the game and the court design. And the idea is sort of that these designs in the corner make their way onto the court when the game happens afterwards.
So, Sarah, talk to us about what's going on under the hood. Like how is like what's interesting or novel about how the smart contracts work for this minting process?
Well, you guys just hit on what was probably the most challenging part, which was making the NFTs updatable. So the images, the metadata changes over time, and I had to make that as fluid as possible, but still store it decentralized. So Taylor and I traded scripts that lets him generate the games and then upload them, and they go directly to IPFS and all that. So I think that was like the most fun and challenging part. Besides that, the smart contract is straightforward, except we did our access list on chain. So if you want to join the access list, you actually have to pay a small amount of gas. And we've got a list of reasons why we chose to do that. I like to do it that way because I love to store everything on chain because I'm just like a smart contract addict.
Purist move. Love it.
A maxi.
Yeah, I would put everything in a smart contract if I could. But yeah, I hate how the new access list games, whitelist games out there are like, you have to answer 10 trivia questions and tag 3 friends and retweet it 17 times. And like, I don't know, it's kind of like turning me off.
Not here for it.
I think it's easier to just let people, get a little skin in the game, pay a little bit of gas, and you're on the list.
Yeah. So how does that work? What can I post in the chat for how that makes it work?
Well, if you go to swishdreamsnft.com, you can click on Mint, and there's an access list sign up button there. You just have to connect your wallet, and you can get right in. And we're monitoring that number every day, eagerly anticipating. So go do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's like 121 right now for Goe, but
oh, that's no good. Wait until it's lower.
Yeah, so
I saw a question in the chat around injuries, and that's something that we had to think through. Is like we didn't want it to be a total dud. Sort of like you go to a game, right? You like spend all this money to go to a game because your favorite player's coming to town, and they're like sitting it out for rest. And you're like, well, shit, that sucks. We didn't want to have that same experience. So if a player does have a DNP, so if they just like rest, they're injured, if they get traded partway through the season, they're not technically on that team at that game, it'll have a specific DNP like call out on it, specifically saying they did not play in the game. And the idea is that we want to give back and like reward folks that are holding those in the form of like either airdrops or better odds and giveaways. We want to like make sure that folks don't feel like they don't go home empty-handed for those, because we know it's just like part of the game these days.
Well, if we're being honest, and we spent a lot of time talking about scarcity.
An injury NFT is pretty scarce.
I was going to say it's a misprint.
Not going to be that many.
It's a misprint.
We had what Greg and I were messaging about. I think it's probably going to be the rarest one happened yesterday, which is a situation where it's not a DNP. The player played, but they didn't make a single shot. So it's just like a blank court, doesn't say DNP on it. I think we were saying like, oh, this is never going to happen, and it happened last night.
Who was it?
Who was it?
Do you remember?
Houston. I think it was Christian Wood. He also got hurt. So he got hurt like 9 minutes in.
Love that. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, to your point about misprint, there's relative scarcity stuff going on. So that's really exciting stuff. So again, just for everybody that's joining or doesn't know, SwishDreamsNFT.com. You can, in order to get on the access list, which again starts minting Monday, right?
Yeah.
12/6. So you will have 4 or 5 days to be able to mint until Friday. Is that right?
Friday's the public. Yeah.
12/10. So access list. And is there a limit on how many you can mint from the access list?
4.
Cool. And then it goes
and
on
sale. And what is our launch price? I know what it is, but for the people, what is it?
0.04.
There we go.
0.04.
0.04 doll hairs.
So at most, if you're on the access list and you hop in, you can at most spend 0.16 plus gas for those. You can mint them all at once, I assume.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And so I know you guys don't have, I mean, it says it on the site. You don't have a like explicit roadmap. I know you two guys, two of my sort of best friends within NFTs, and Sarah, you're you're the only like real coder that I've gotten to know who's like incredibly like candid, cool, and like clearly have some technical savvy. What's the I guess what do you guys want this to be other than just it's been kind of fun? And honestly, like if for now it is really just this was a fun project that we just really wanted to do, like that's a sufficient answer to me. So like I'll give you the floor on that. Like kind of what is your sort of vision for kind of what this could be going forward?
I mean, I think there's a lot of ways we can take it. Oh, Greg, go for it.
I was just gonna say, yeah, there's a lot of different ways we can go. We've started playing with, you know, some ideas for what might be our first airdrops and stuff like that, and things like historical games, and maybe not doing entire games, but you know, for Thompson, doing like just that third quarter as a 1 of 1, or you know, just specific shots in history that were important. Like there's a lot of different ways we could take this within, you know, kind of the framework that we've already kind of put together.
Yeah, I think that
narrative value.
Yeah, I was gonna like what I think like playoffs, like that's a special thing, or historical stuff is a special thing, and making it 1 of 1s. You know, I think that's the right way to kind of look at things going forward. But like I said, just be careful, because like Brick Nightmares, it's coming.
Brick Nightmares might come up.
It's all the misses.
Swish Dream. You thought Swish Dreams was great. Get ready for
You'll be spamming people in the Discord being like,
yeah.
we formally approve this project.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Swished out.
Yeah.
But you guys have some stuff to give away, yeah?
We got 5 to give away.
Okay. We're 2 hours in. We should probably
give those
some
away. Yeah, let's start firing them away.
Okay, what should the I'll plug it into Nightbot. What should people in the chat type?
I think
Swish.
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 Yeah, Swish.
Swish.
All right, everybody in the chat, hit us up with Swish, and we'll go from there. We'll start with a handful.
We'll be sending these once minting starts. Once we get the ETH address, we'll send it over.
So we haven't played the giveaway song tonight, so we should probably play the giveaway song.
We should probably play it.
Sure.
All right, and here we go.
Subscribe and that bullshit. You might win some free shit. Give. Gonna give away. We're gonna give away some. Give. We're gonna give away. We're gonna give away some. It could be you. It's probably not. It's probably not. And if it is, oh, that would be so crazy. I smell a bot. I smell a bot.
Rigged. This shit is rigged. Rig job selling. Come on. All right, here we go. First one.
I got to bounce.
See you.
Sorry, guys.
We'll see you later. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Chugs, you won.
No way. Okay, I'll give mine away. Actually, I fucking want one though, man.
Okay, you get it. You get it.
No, I'll
All right, Brian chuckles.
That's hilarious.
Brian chuckles.
That is.
I love. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Chugs and Bucks is one to give away.
Yeah.
Rigged.
Hey,
God.
Well, and I've got I guess 2 winners to announce. One from the Cool Cats Discord, which I guess they know, and then one from the Grizz Discord that you guys were nice enough to pass over.
Dope.
How close was the best guess?
Yeah. So I guess the Grizz one was a little more fun to kind of like talk about, because we decided to say whoever's closest to how many makes and attempts from 3 that the Thunder have tonight. And they're actually like atrocious from 3, and they turned out to continue to be atrocious from 3. Let me see. The actual number they went 11 for 38 from 3.
Oof.
and somebody actually guessed 11 from 39 for 39.
Wow.
So it was like basically like on the nose. So
They deserve that.
Yeah, memorabilia in our chat. He's good guy, good contributor, good Grizz fan, also TopShot fan, Ballers fan, and soon to be a Swish Dreams fan. So I'll get you guys his ETH address, and everybody likes getting a free taste of something. Is it going to be so they're going to get something that is like they don't like you have no idea what you're getting, right? Like it's because
we're going to send it pre-reveal, and then once reveal happens, they'll find out if it's happened, future, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got that name right, Brian Chuckles. And Brian, can you the easiest way to do this is probably to reach out to me via Twitter. If you have Twitter, and just DM me your ETH address on Twitter. That would be ideal, or Discord, I guess. But just let me know. We'll roll another one. Everybody's still eligible. So Daviska 82, number 3. We're giving you Chugs. You won fair and square. You're in the chat. I entered in the chat too. You won fair and square. So Daviska, you get one. We'll go for number 4 now. Let's roll it again. Optical, AWPTICAL. And again, everybody DM me on Twitter if you have Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, just whisper me on Twitch. Your ETH address.
Anybody who wins, if I pull a team that you like, a player that you want, and you've got Ja Morant, I will gladly trade.
No, don't trade him. Just make him buy it.
Yeah.
Put that
No,
shit
what
in,
if they're 2 upcoming games
OpenSea.
though? That would be incredible. Like 2 upcoming games, you're like, who's gonna have the better game? Who's gonna move the needle?
And then, so that was 3 or 4.
That was 4.
Well, including me.
Tux Cat 42. Tux Cat.
Hey,
Tux Cat.
You know, hit us up in the Plungeon. And because Chugs won, we should probably give away some Plungeon NFTs too. Yeah. We got a lot of them.
So bad.
Yeah.
Maybe Warren Fang can win more. Maybe W Fang can win a couple more.
So what we're gonna do?
NFTs.
I won't. So new keyword Plungeon, PLUNGEON. Oh, for anybody that's not already in the Discord, we still have a Discord. It's cool. Yeah. There you go. Hats. There's
Craig. I gotta get you your hat. I haven't seen Greg in person yet since New York.
So I haven't been advertising this, but basically every single time. So these Plungeon NFTs that we launched a while back to help fund the NFT NYC trip, which was awesome. It paid for everything that we did. We sold like 90 of them or something like that. But the price was 0.033. We launched right before gas just like totally fucking shit the bed. And I've been personally buying every one that's listed under 0.033.
Low 0.03.
So when gas is low, if someone undercuts because they don't want it anymore, I go buy it.
Sweet.
So not to say that I will buy it. I'm not promising that I will buy it, but the chances that, like, if ETH goes up and you list it for under 0.033, I will probably buy it.
Floor sweeping.
Just do them a solid and list it at like 0.02 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, go easy on
0.015. Just he'll take it.
No, but for anybody that doesn't know, and I assume most of you, but this is gated access to our Discord. There's only like 90 or 100 people in there. It's not like a constant stream of things. It's just a cool place to vibe. There's some good alpha stuff that happens in there, but it's not explicitly for anything like that. But we chat up good stuff. Smashing bottoms, baby. All right, so Plungeon. We'll roll it. We'll do 3 of them. Let's do 3 tonight.
3.
We'll go through 3 more. All right, Fenny NFT. And if you're in the Discord already and you win, you need to provide me the ETH address of someone else that you want to pull into the fold. I'm not going to give you any money or anything. You get to decide who that one goes to. So Fenny NFT, hit me up in Discord or Twitch. We'll roll it again. Dr. Olympia, I know you're in there already.
They're in there.
So that's cool.
Proud.
So yeah, find us a new person to pull into the fold.
Bring your green hat.
Fenny NFT. And then the last one, God fucking damn it, Warren Fang. We're gonna do 4 then. Warren Fang, you get to pull one more person in.
Reroll.
We're gonna reroll.
Yeah. Turn down the rig.
Tyler Durden Heat. You get to pick someone. Fuck.
I feel like
one more. He's in there too. God damn it.
He's one.
All right, one more. We got to find someone that's not in there. GP TopShot. Okay. You're not in there yet.
There
Cool.
we go.
So we'll do 5. So Twitch or Discord or Twitter. I know pretty much everybody that was on there that we just said. Hit me up with the ETH address that you want it sent to. I'll get it sent out probably this weekend when gas is low. But those are the 5 there.
Can I trade for a Swish stream?
No.
LOL.
I like the hustle though.
Oh, you're in too, so you get to pick somebody. I forgot about that. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, so and that's ultimately I think what's going to happen here with the Plungeon thing is like we haven't talked about this, but we should talk about it. Like we've got 200 left or whatever it is. Like probably makes sense for those 100 people to like maybe get another one and pull someone else into the fold. We'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
But
bring your green hat, bring a friend.
Yeah, especially because I think it's better. Power of community is through networking. So, anything else, gentlemen?
I mean,
No.
I don't really know. It's 2 hours 20 minutes.
Pretty good.
We thought we were going to go late. It's a solid. It's not late, but it's a solid. Solid stretch.
Ain't nothing better than solid.
Yeah,
it don't get no
Too
better
solid.
than solid.
Saints are inept.
Too
They
solid.
lost. So whatever.
Too solid.
It's fine.
All right. Well, with that, so let's. I don't know how to do a Twitch poll. Anybody know how to do a poll?
I know how to do a poll in Discord.
I'm in
The question is,
StreamYard. I got
we-
no buttons.
No, the poll on Twitch is: should we go raid no hitter for card breaking, or should we go raid Amaranth for like some ear licking?
Wait, what?
Sorry, some what?
Did you say like
You
literally?
guys don't know
Like
about
ASMR?
What is it?
Oh yeah,
Wait,
you guys
what?
are missing out.
What?
Oh,
You guys are
It's
missing
getting
out.
weird. We're coming up on midnight. It's getting weird.
We're not friends anymore.
What is this?
What?
Can I even
All
Google
right,
this?
everybody go to no hitter.
Snooze. Oh,
Oh.
you guys
He won't
don't
be-
know about this?
You guys don't know about Amaranth?
very scared right now.
All right. With that, everybody have a great night. We'll see you
yeah.
next week. Have a good one.
Later.
Yeah. Are we
What?
What?
we still live?
I got to
Says
end
we're
it. Sorry, my
live.
bad.